Good morning, Digit Fam. It's Valentine's Day, and guess what? I love my listeners. So do me a favor, take some time today, and every day for that matter, to cuddle up to a loved one, whether it's a spouse, sibling, parent, pet, or someone else in your life. And if you don't have anyone special, I recommend rum. But for now, it's February 14th, 2019, and this is your Digit Daily. Yesterday, we talked about how Apple wants to be the Netflix of news. Today, we're talking about how Apple wants to be the Netflix of Netflix. Yep, rumor has it that Apple is going Hollywood and wants to launch a video streaming service. To celebrate, Apple is inviting Jennifer Aniston, Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Garner, and J.J. Abrams to the event, and at least two of them still have a career. The new streaming service will include shows either acquired or funded by Apple, according to Bloomberg, including Oprah. Apple is negotiating content from other partners, but not surprisingly, neither Netflix nor HBO want to take part, or at least probably not. What's interesting is that some content, including carpool karaoke, will still be free via Apple's new app. What isn't detailed is whether or not the service will be available on Android. News outlets reported that the service will be available on iPad, Apple TV, and the like, but didn't mention Android, which makes me think it won't. Seems like a bad idea to shut out 1 billion or so users, but whatever, Apple's got an Apple. And can I just tell you how excited I am to have another streaming service coming to the table? It's seriously like cable companies all over again. When are we gonna stop screwing this up? And we have a second top story for you, although it's a sad one. It seems that NASA is putting down the paddles and pulling off its mask and calling time of death on the Opportunity Rover, February 13th, 2019. Actually, the rover has likely been dead since the middle of last year. You'll recall we reported that dust had covered the solar panels on the rover, stopping it from charging back up. Well, I guess windshield wipers weren't in the budget, huh? Anyway, yesterday was the last time NASA will attempt to contact the little rover that could. Mars Insight is now the shiny new toy in the toy box, and NASA will focus its efforts there. But considering Opportunity lived up to its name by living 5,408 days past its initial expiration date, you have to be proud of our little sunshine on the red planet. Tristan on the newsletter compiled a number of obstacles Opportunity had to overcome, including steering loss, dust storms, and sand ripples. Ooh, those sand ripples, they'll get you every time, won't they? Well, maybe Elon Musk could drop $100,000 and head on over to the rover with some Windex and a couple rolls of paper towels to get Opportunity up and running again. He still hasn't answered my tweet, by the way, and I'm starting to think he might not. But that's okay, because I'm not just going to sit by the phone and wait for him to call. I'm going to head into the roundup! Google is expected to launch a new Google Home, smartwatch, updated Nest security cameras, and 2 budget Pixel phones priced cheaper than the iPhone XR this year. None of that is particularly surprising except for the smartwatch part. Yes, Google bought stuff from Fossil with money it found on the couch, and a recent report had Google looking to hire a Vice President Hardware Engineering Wearables, which is a job title that just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? But here's the thing. Smartwatches take time to make, so I'm not sure 2019 fits in that timeline. I mean, we'll see, but I'm calling the smartwatch portion of this questionable. Apple's self-driving cars are way behind the pack, and that's evidenced by the fact that humans need to intervene every 1.1 miles as opposed to Waymo's cars who require intervention every 11,018 miles. And no, I did not misplace a decimal in either of those numbers. Is it surprising that Apple is so far behind? I don't know. This is the company that took 2 years and 3 generations of iPhone to get copy and paste, so you tell me. If you'll recall the EU Copyright Act we talked about a few days ago, I mentioned knitting forums at the time. Oh yeah! Anyway, the final attempt to reword that garbage legislation has failed, and the law will be put to a vote sometime in March or April. Here's hoping that the threat of being booted out of office in May keeps the yay votes at bay.
How about I just go eat some hay? I can make things out of clay and lay by the bay, I just may. What do you say?
But the bright side is if this passes, suddenly Brexit might not seem like such a bad idea. I don't know, folks. I'm really trying here. 3 days ago, The Verge wrote a story on how copyright strikes were being used as an extortion tool against smaller YouTube channels. Anonymous emailers placed copyright strikes on 2 different YouTube channels and asked for money to basically pull back the strike so the channel can live on. The Verge goes on to explain how the copyright system works and how it can be a real headache for YouTubers to correct this and how the system can be abused and yada yada yada. Now, some of you are wondering why a daily podcast is reporting on a 3-day-old story. Well, back in September, which is before the time of the Digit Daily, otherwise you know I would have piled on, The Verge made a video called How to Build a $2,000 PC and then spent the next 11 minutes doing literally everything wrong. I could explain what they did wrong, but the list goes on, and this is only a 7-minute podcast. So yeah, it was a lot. The Verge recently filed a copyright strike against a parody of that video, and seriously, The Verge, what the hell? Did you write that piece a few days ago and suddenly you're like, hey? It was 5 months ago, guys. Move on. So, I have good news and bad news for you. Remember that Equifax data breach from a couple of years ago? You know, like the largest in history? Well, the good news is that no one has sold that data yet. The bad news is that no one has sold that data yet, and no one knows why. It's possible that data may have been sold, sent, or even hacked in the first place by a foreign government, but otherwise, it's just out there, and no one apparently is using it for anything. So, cool, I guess? And finally, a Redditor asked the question, you are offered $1 million if you can hide a pair of car keys from the entirety of the FBI force for 7 days. And bro, I'm a geocacher. I know all the good hiding places. Personally, though, I'd go to Bussy Woods in Elk Grove Village, Illinois, park, wander around the woods for a few hours without my phone. They'd never find anything that I'd hidden in there, especially since after I left the woods, I'd come home and toss them into my 8-year-old's room. They'll be missing until next fall, I promise you. So that is going to do it for today's Digit Daily. If you'd like to learn more about any of these stories, check out the links in the show notes and subscribe to our daily newsletter on Digit.com. And if you like what you heard, subscribe and leave a review on your favorite podcast player. It's Valentine's Day. You love us. Review us. That's how you show your love. Once again, I'm Adam Dowd, Dead Technology on Twitter, and we'll talk again tomorrow.